What's good, YouTube? It's Rico here, and I've got a deck profile for the deck I just took to my OTS championship in Maryland and got first place with. I won the whole thing. It was really awesome. It's Danger Thunder Dragon, and I think it was like a tournament of 44 players, and it was honestly kind of stacked. There were a lot of like really strong players from, you know, the Maryland, Virginia area that came out, and then like just a bunch of other people, and yeah, it was tough, but somehow I managed to get all the way up to the top and win. I was only really aiming for top 4. I just really wanted my invite, just because I've been kind of inactive lately, as evidenced by the only 2 videos I've done recently were the review on the ban list and then the review on the ban list before that. And then the last deck profile I posted was like the Dark Warrior FTK, you know, when that garbage was still legal. So yeah, basic recap of what I've been doing since then is I went to ARG Atlanta with Chaos Thunder Dragon. Didn't do well, didn't really care. Didn't feel like playing at the time. Took a break for about a month to a month and a half. Came back towards the end of January, picked up stuff for Danger Thunder Dragon right as they banned Fairy Tail Snow and all the other stuff, and then retooled it to the way that it's been playing recently with like the Seconds Light stuff and all that. And it's been working really well. I've been doing a lot better at my locals. I even like won one of them recently. And then obviously I won the OTS championship today, so it's really good. And we've been planning to go to YCS Atlanta. So yeah, I'm really happy with the deck. I like how I feel about it is kind of mixed, where like I think the turn 1 plays where it sets up like the unbreakable board with all the guard dragon stuff, I think is really stupid. But I think that outside of that, like if that play fails, like if your opponent stops it, or if you're forced to go second, I think the deck's actually really cool, and that like it actually has like a pretty large decision tree in like figuring out how to get to the end board or how to kill your opponent. So I really like it because of that. But it's like some of the things you do on the first turn, and if your opponent doesn't have an answer, are just absolutely asinine. But I mean, I'll take this over previous formats. I don't like it just like auto loses to Droll and Lockbird, but I can't really do anything about that. So yeah, let's get into what I ran. And let's see, switch the camera. Alright. So I'm gonna have to work around with this. I got a new phone since my last video, and this one doesn't have a pop socket on it, so I'm gonna have to hold it. But hopefully the quality is better, because this is like a way better phone. Anyway, so the main deck's honestly for the most part really standard. Like if you look at any Seconds Light Thunder lists from like Aaron Furman or like Jesse Conrad, this is really similar. There's obviously like 1 or 2 differences, but for the most part it's the exact same stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. So 3 Battery Man Solar, 3 Phantom Sky Blaster. These are your starter cards. Phantom Sky Blaster is absolutely broken, and I 100% believe this card needs to be banned. Having 4 free link, like essentially 4 free link material, because it's so easy to get something else on the board before this, is ridiculous and should not be a thing. Battery Man Solar is also really good. I don't think I'd go as far as to say he's broken, but he is definitely a very powerful card. So yeah, basically you want to open one of these in your opening play. For Dangers, I play 13 of them total. I play 3 Nessie, 3 Jackalope, 3 Tsuchinoko. It's all standard. I did opt for 3 Mothman. I do think this card is really good. It's not as good as the 3 before it, but it's still really nice, because even if you hit it, you can usually do something off of the draw and discard. The only time where the draw and discard is really terrible is if you're playing as like Danger Dark World, but that deck's not super popular, so I don't really think it's a problem. But yeah, Mothman was really clutch all day. And then I played 1 Chupacabra. This was mostly because I had room for 1 more card, but the 1 Chupacabra honestly came in clutch. I didn't want to play multiples. Like I considered playing 3 of it, but I didn't want to play multiples because it's really awful to open. Because it's the only one where if you have no prior setup, it doesn't necessarily do anything. But sorry, my phone was starting to turn off, so I had to get the thing away from. Okay. So I didn't want to play this because it's bad with no prior setup, but there were some situations where I might have already gone through Jackalope, Mothman, and or Jackalope, Mothman, and Tsuchinoko, or even just Jackalope, Tsuchinoko, and if I ditch Nessie, sometimes it's just nice to start to Chupacabra because it's another guaranteed summon. So yeah, I definitely think this card was really good. I'm glad I played the 1. I don't think I would up it to 3, but or 2, but I definitely think the 1 was really nice. But 13 Danger is all really good cards. As for the Thunders, I played... Okay, there's supposed to be 3 Darks here. don't know where one of them went. Hold on. I swear there's another Thunder Dragon Dark. Yeah, I found it. It was hiding. Yeah, 3 Thunder Dragon Darks. Right there. So yeah, 3 Thunder Dragon Darks, and then I played 2 Roar, 2 Hawk, and 1 Duo. That's pretty standard. I think the only thing that's maybe not too standard, but I've recently seen, is that I didn't play regular Thunder Dragon at all. I think the card's really nice in certain situations. It's really, like, regular Thunder Dragon combos really well with the Dangers, and it combos really well with Sekka's Light, but it's not really good for too much else. It can't summon Diablos because it's not dark. It's not good if you're going against the mirror because it gets locked out by Colossus. And, you know, outside of just upping your hand size, it's really not that great, and I felt like these were the only ones that were needed. I was for a while trying out only 2 dark because I felt like it wasn't always that great to draw it, but honestly this card's discard effect came up so many times today, I can't believe I ever considered cutting this down to 2. 3 dark is definitely insane. It plays around Azathoth. It's good if you go second and you need to get just something in your graveyard. You can just drop it on end phase. So many other things it did. Sometimes, like, if I got like no way to get to Hawk, just discarding the dark to make it so I could summon Colossus was really good. But yeah, these were all really good. I think this is a very good ratio. I don't think I would change this at all. I honestly think the Thunders are like the weakest part of the deck, but they're still incredibly important because, like, they're the weakest in the sense that they don't actually start off a lot of your combos, but they're such a key piece to finishing them and putting enough damage on board that they're still needed. But yeah. And then for other monsters, Levianeer at 3. This is the true boss monster of the deck. Won't convince me otherwise. This card is insane. I definitely think 3 of this is correct. Yeah. And then Diablos and Eclipse Wyvern. These suck to draw, but you also need them for the combo. I would often side out these 2 and a Mothman going second. Like, those are my 3 go-to side outs. Just because going second, the Guard Dragon combo is not as important. You can put out enough damage without it. So, yeah. Siding with this deck is really hard. I feel like if, in a lot of cases, I can only side out, like, 3 cards. And maybe I could side out 6, depending on, like... If I side in, like, Denko Sekka, then I take out Sky Blaster, but it's really hard to side out a lot other than that. And then the last monsters in the deck are the Baby Chaos Dragons. 2 Collapse Serpent, 3 Wyverburster. I think this is pretty standard. So... And then the last 3 cards in the deck are 3 Sekka's Light. This card's really good, and it's also, like, really not. I don't know. It's, like, it's really dumb because it's Pot of Greed. And it can also, like, just cycle your hand, but it's not, like... It doesn't always, like, make or break things. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not. I guess it just really depends on the hand, which I guess is true for, like, any draw card, but I wouldn't not play it, obviously. I don't think there's any other spell worth playing. Like, I don't think the 1 gold Sarcophagus is enough to warrant not playing Sekka's Light. So, yeah. And that's the main deck. It's 40 cards. I think 40 was fine. Like I said, I considered playing 2 more Chupacabras, and that was mostly just for siding. I think it was fine as it was at 40, and I don't think I would change it. Extra deck. Let's pull this over here. So, yeah, extra deck was 3 Colossus. I don't think I normally summon all 3, but I think I would prefer just having all 3. There are some times where I just end on double Colossus, like if I get stopped or just depending on matchup, I'll just end on these. So yeah, I definitely think it was good to play all 3. 1 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss and 1 Zombie Stein. These are for the Guard Dragon combos. Well, this is for the Guard Dragon combos. I know that some people have switched to Crystal Wing. I still prefer Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss because I think it's just generally better across the board. Like, Crystal Wing's way better against anything that's monster heavy, so, you know, the Mirror or Danger or, you know, anything like that. But Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss is good against Sky Striker. It's good against Altergeist. It's alright. I would say it's pretty good against Salamangreat. I stopped that Infernity Launcher spell card they had once with this today, so that was really nice. I don't regret this. I'm glad I played this instead of Crystal Wing. And then Zombie Stein was alright. I didn't actually summon this guy that much, but when I did, he was pretty good. 2-star Yujas. This card is insane. Probably needs to go to 1, actually. I don't think this card is broken at 1, but I think in multiple copies it gets a little absurd. Borreload. Sometimes I wish I played Boral Sword instead, but I think Boral is better just because of the mirror. But like, if it weren't for the fact that Colossus is actually like a pain in the ass to deal with, I would probably play Boral Sword instead of Borreload. Summon Sorceress and Reaper-Docus. This is insane, obviously. Phoenix and Unicorn. Phoenix actually came up a lot, whether it was just like to get Link 2s on the board or just to pop a spell and trap card. This card was insane. I'm so glad I played it. And then I think I played Unicorn like one or two times today. It was nice. The Guard Dragons for combos and Link Spider for bye Link Spider. Link Spider for Phantom Sky Blaster. And yeah, that was the extra deck. I actually don't think there's anything in the extra deck I can change. The only thing I would say is this, you could consider is switching out the Hot Red for Crystaling, but I think all 15 of these cards are needed, and like you can't really deviate much from it. And then side deck. 3 Phantasmi. I got this card literally the night before the event from a friend of mine. And I really was not that experienced in using it, so I didn't put it in as much as I think I should have. In hindsight, I should probably be putting this in every time I go second. Just because even if like its effect to target isn't that useful, it's just good for cycling your hand. Because if your opponent summons a Link monster, you just draw 2 and cycle something back. So it's good for hand manipulation, which this deck really benefits from. Which is one of the reasons Sekka's Light is so good. So moving forward, I would definitely just side this in every time I'm going second. Also, this is searchable by Eclipse Wyvern, just as a note. 3 Lancia. I never actually sided this in. I put this in because I know like a couple of people in my locals play Orcust, and it's also good in the mirror. But I never sided it in because I never played the mirror, I never played Orcust, I never played anything else this would be good against, which I don't even know what that would be. And honestly, now that I put this in originally because I didn't have Phantasmi and I wanted 6 hand traps for the mirror, but now that I have Phantasmi, and obviously I'm playing Droll and Lockbird on the side, spoilers, I don't think this is really necessary unless Orcust becomes really big, but in the meantime, I might switch this off for Red Reboot. 3 Denko. This was actually really nice all day against Salamangreat. At worst, it baited out Valor. At best, it locked out their back row. So this was nice. And usually I just turned it into Colossus after I was done. So it was really nice. 3 Pankratops. This was okay. I don't know if I'd play it at 3 again. I feel like it was mainly because I was afraid of Floodgates. But outside of that situation, the card's like average, really. Mostly the reason I play it is because it's a monster, so it doesn't conflict with Sekka's Light. But I don't think I need 3 of it. Moving forward, I might actually cut one of these for the Winged Dragon of Ra, because this deck doesn't really have an answer to Sphere Mode. Like if I set up the board my opponent's Sphere Modes, I might not actually have a follow-up, but if I play the one Winged Dragon of Ra, which is like the only card I would probably ever consider siding going second, then if they Sphere Mode me, I can just turn it into the Winged Dragon of Ra and wipe out their board by paying 7,000 life points and swing for game. So that's something to consider. I think it's such a stupid play, and every time the Winged Dragon or Raw has come up, it's always been like, haha, funny joke. But I think for this deck, it might actually be necessary because there's no reliable way to end on less than 2 monsters. So I feel like this deck might actually need to side the Winged Dragon of Raw. And then Droll and Lockbird because dangers are good cards. 3 of the games I lost today were solely because of this card. Also, I hate this card. I am mad that it exists sometimes. But yeah, I didn't side Sphere Mode because I was having this discussion with my friend, and we reached the conclusion that because of the Diablos Levianeer combo that rips 2 out of the opponent's hand, it's better to side cards that stop your opponent from getting there, you know, like Droll, Phantasmi, Lancia, or whatever, than it would be to side cards that answer the board after it already happened. So that was really the reason that we decided that it was probably better not to play Sphere Mode. Also, like, it conflicted with, like, it was more of just, like, it wastes your normal summon, and then you only have 3 cards after that, and so you have to be able to, like, take them out with that. And I don't know, that was just, like, weird, I guess. I mean, it might be something to consider just because it is very powerful against this deck, but I don't know, I'd have to think about it moving forward. So, like, obviously I'm gonna cut Lancia probably, but those last slots could probably be either Sphere Mode or Red Reboot. I guess it depends on how much I am, like, worried about Ultrageist, which is, like, not really. So, like, I don't know, it could be Red Reboot, it could be Sphere Mode. I do want to try the Winged Dragon Raw just because this deck does have a problem with Sphere Mode. Like, I cannot think of a way to answer that card aside from playing the Wind Dragon Raw. So yeah, that's the entire deck. Let me set this down because my arm's getting tired. So yeah, like I said, I won. Got the nice Phantasmi mat, which looks sick as shit, by the way. So yeah, basic rundown of the matchups I had. I ran into Salamangreat 6 times, and before today, I had never seen the deck in action. I had no idea what any of the stuff did. I barely knew what any of the cards' names were. And now, like, after I've played it 6 times, I honestly feel like I have a very solid understanding of how it works. So, like, I don't know. The deck's, like, Salamangreat, I know, is getting a lot of hype going into this weekend. I think the deck's really good, but I think some aspects of it are just, like, super, super fair, which is another thing I felt about Sky Striker, where, like, some parts of it are ridiculous, and, like, if it is able to, like, outgrind, then, like, it can win. But also some aspects of it are just like, it's alright. I didn't really struggle too much with the Salamangreat matchup, but yeah, my basic rundowns: round 1 is Salamangreat, round 2 is also Salamangreat, round 3, where did my music go? Oh, I've been talking for 16 minutes apparently. Yeah, round 3 was Pendulum Magician, and I lost that. I lost the first game because he set up this was actually like a weak board for Pendulum, but he set up Decode Talker, Jackal King, and Fogblade, and that was actually enough to stop me from playing because I only drew 1 danger and I couldn't like get enough on board to make Boar Load. And then game 2 he hit me with Drone Lockbird. Round 4 I hit my friend who was also playing Salamangreat. I like won handily game 1. Game 2 I got hit by Drone Lockbird and lost. And then game 3 I got hit by Drone Lockbird, and before I could put enough damage on board to, because I was at 75, he was at the 8,000, and time was about to run out, and before I could get Diablos on board, time ran out, so I wasn't able to hit him. And I was really salty after that, because that was the 3rd fucking Drone Lockbird I'd run into, and also I lost because of time, and that was just like, oh boy, 2 things about this game that I hate. I was really mad about that, but then after that, I ran into another Pendulum Magician, and I won that, and then I ran into another Salamangreat, and won that. And then in the top 8, I ran into Salamangreat, and the person playing it was Daniel Shogun, the guy who's really known for playing Spiral in the past year. And I was able to win that. I was like, game 1 was like, he destroyed me. I misplayed. He like mind gamed me into like misplaying something, and like I can't have to give him props for that. He's really good at mind games, I feel. But game 2 and 3 he opened really weak, and I just killed him. And then for top 4, I played against my friend who was playing the Salamangreat for like the run back, and then I beat him that time. And then finals was my friend playing Sky Striker, and I won. So yeah, it was really good. Really happy with the results. My next event is ARG Atlanta. I'll probably make a couple of changes to the side, but I think the main and extra I'm pretty happy on, unless some crazy revelation happens in the next few weeks. But yeah, that's the deck, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. This was more fun than any like of the past 3 Yu-Gi-Oh events I've been to, just because the format's like, I don't think the format's great. I think it's a significant step up from the shit we've had to deal with through all of 2018. Like no Firewall Dragon, no hand loops. Well, no Gumblar hand loops for 4. There's still hand loops. No Rongo Bongo, any of it. Like the format's improving, and like they asked like Soul Charge and a bunch of other degenerate stuff, but there's still like some really dumb stuff in the game going on now. But I think for the most part, the game's getting in a better spot, so I'm feeling a lot better about it. So yeah, and I got my invite for Nats from this, so I'll be going to Nats in July, end of June, somewhere around that. I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, and like after this format, because this is supposed to end in like April or something, I think the next deck I'm gonna look into playing is probably the Enemy and stuff, but that's a good month or so away, and I have YCS Atlanta to worry about before that. So yeah, yeah, and until then, I'll see you guys next time.